How we doing, everyone? Welcome to today's live, Friday, April 11th. Bum, bum, bum. How we all doing? If you guys are tuning in, how's everyone feeling? How's everyone doing? How are you this fine afternoon? How are you guys handling the energy? So I just posed a little question. If you are watching this live, and if you are watching the replay, then still pose this question. But when it comes to sacred union, because that's what we're going to be talking about today. We're going to be talking a lot about the energy right now and what it means sort of relationally and relational archetypes. And so the question is, have you entered the void? And so I'm asking you guys, if you're watching this live or you're watching the replay, have you entered the void? That is the question. Have you entered the void? And maybe you're wondering, what is the void? So if you're watching this live, two questions. Have you guys entered the void? And then if you don't know what the void is, you can speak up. Or if you do know what the void is, maybe you can even put that in the chat section. What do you guys think the void is? I'm curious what everyone thinks the void is. What do I mean when I say, have you entered the void? Have you entered the void? So today I'm going to be talking a lot about, and I'm going to be doing a bunch of channeling. That sort of feels aligned in sort of the space that I'm in, sort of personally, where it's going to be a lot of, I'm just going to sort of channel what's trying to come through and what I feel's really sort of happening in the space. And so we're going to talk a lot about the energy and what I feel it means as it pertains to relationships, relational archetypes, what we're moving away from and what we're moving into. And because there's a bunch of pieces that I'm feeling really, really strongly with this. So that's sort of where we're going to go with this live. And so, yeah, first off, have you guys entered the void yet? That's the question that I ask anyone that's been coming through when someone's like, I want a sacred union, I want a divine union. And the question is, have you entered the void? And so I'm going to explain what this question means and what the void is in a very surface way of explaining it. So if I would tell this to someone who's not spiritual, it would really be, have you sat with yourself without going from relationship to relationship or connection to connection, right? Are you constantly searching for a relationship, or have you fully surrendered to the void? Meaning, just at a very surface level, have you fully sat with yourself without connection, without that world of the romantic space? Have you really sat with yourself for a prolonged period of time? Because so often what happens, people are married for 15 years and maybe they hang out with themselves for 3 or 4 months and then they're fucking all of a sudden pregnant with another child from someone else. And it's like they never really entered the void. They just kind of transferred and transitioned into something else. Or someone's like, I was in a really dark place like 2 weeks after my like 10-year relationship ended, and I met my divine union sort of counterpart. And you hear a lot of these stories, right? A lot of these stories where, and maybe perhaps these are sacred union relationships, but I can tell you these people never entered the void. And entering the void is probably the most important sort of prerequisite to prepare for your divine union counterpart, to prepare for your sacred union timeline. And you see it all the time. Someone's like fucking, married for 20 years and then they're in another relationship 6 months later. And you can only assume, how much did they really sit with themselves? How much did they really sit with themselves? And I have done this in the past. You get out of a relationship and you're like looking for something else, right? Because you sort of come up to your unworthiness and you come up to this attachment, and it's really uncomfortable. And you're like, of course I'm going to search for something. Of course I'm going to try to find something. You know what I mean? We want to find that salvation relationally, that divine union salvation, because that's what we're looking for, right? We're looking for that ultimate spiritual romantic relationship that can absolve us into a place of total ecstasy. That's what we're looking for, right? And so this space where we sort of have to let go of that initially, we have to let go of that entirely, feels counterintuitive to what we desire, right? So very simply put, the void is a space where there's no romantic connection, where that world is shut down, right? And so the question is, have you ever moved into a space where that world has shut down? that world of pursuing connections, of pursuing romance, pursuing dates, of trying to find your person. Have you ever shut that world down for a prolonged period of time? Have you ever shut that world down? That is, in a very surface sort of way, that's what the void is, right? And my belief is that there's a necessary purifying process that is needed where you enter the void on your own to prepare for your person. And if you don't enter that void, if you've never entered that void, then it's not really sacred union. It's not really divine union. You see a lot of people who talk a lot about, I would probably say the most bastardized word in the spiritual community is sacred union or divine union. It's the most bastardized word. It's the most marketable word because everyone wants it, right? But people just throw it around like crazy, right? Without really fully coming to sort of this inner union or this inner marriage with ourselves, truly coming to this inner union. And so often people are talking about relationships like twin flames and sort of karmic relationships that they put into the slot of divine union or sacred union. When it just has it inherently this sort of wounded energy behind it. This sort of I'm searching for a spiritual salvation. You'll hear a lot of women are like, I have such a yearning for love, and they're not able to sit with that yearning, that they're hijacked by it. So they're always searching for a man. They're always trying to call in a man. And so for a lot of women, the question actually is, have you ever actually moved into a period where you're not trying to call in your man, where you're actively shutting that space down? Because that's what the void is, that you shut down that space because you understand you're preparing. You understand that you're purifying. But people transfer relationships and go connection to connection, play leapfrog all the fucking time. All the fucking time. So what's happening right now with the energy? With the energy that's happening as we're really sort of shifting into this space of arrival, right? We're really moving into this frequency of arrival. What is arrival? Arrival is one thing. Arrival is levity. So arriving means you feel light. Arriving means that you're in a space of total embodied levity. If I could break down what somatically arriving means, it means the crown is integrated all the way to your root. It means you're anchored, but you're free. You're anchored, but you're free. So your crown is expanding wide open, but you're rooted and anchored deep down to the earth. So that sort of space is arriving, that you're totally free. You feel really, really light. It sort of feels like there's this expansive sort of bliss frequency that's moving all around you, where everything feels possible. And it's this really, really deep, resonant soul frequency that's beginning to inhabit you. Arriving, and so in terms of preparing for sacred union, arriving is arriving in this frequency all on your own. Arriving in this frequency all on your own, right? But the thing is that you have to enter the void in order to move into this sort of arrival. You have to enter the void. You guys know the whole idea that, and this is going to get a little bit spiritual here, but think about it. When we die, we have no assurance that we're going to go to heaven, but we have to die to find out if heaven exists. Well, what happens is people usually resist the void because they don't know what's going to happen. They don't know if they're going to be okay because there's no assurance of their liberation. There's no assurance of their liberation. So we're essentially in resistance to our liberation. We live in resistance to our liberation. And so we resist entering the void. And usually the way that we resist entering the void is by keeping some connections afloat, by pursuing romantic connections, dating apps, trying to find a relationship, trying to fucking manifest our king, trying to call in our king, whatever it might be. And so, or we're trying to call in this relationship, and we resist entering the void. We resist entering the void, right? And so what happens is, A, we never fully die, and 2, we never fully arrive. We never really get born into this frequency of levity in our space, of total sort of reharmonizing alchemy, inner union with ourselves, masculine, feminine energy, totally in this marriage within us. And we sort of stay in resistance. So most people stay in resistance to the void. And most people try to find their partner without ever having entered the void. What is the void? The void is, and I talked about this on Instagram, it's this place where you're fully grieving an old paradigm of love. You're fully grieving all wounded projections, all stories, all fantasies around love. All these fantasies around this king, this divine king on a fucking white horse is going to come and save you and take you away from your life and take you into this fantasy. That has to die. That has to die. In the void, all of a sudden, when you think about romantic relationships, there's nothing there. There's nothing there. It's emptiness. It's a vast abyss, right? But in that space, all your deepest attachment comes up, all your deepest unworthiness. You have to sit with yourself at the depths of your own wholeness and your own sovereignty. You have to sit with the deepest aspects of ourselves, and we fight that. We resist it. We resist it. So we resist entering the void and we look for a relationship. We're like, where's a person? We're a woman. You know, we have strong eros energy. We have this yearning to be devoured in connection by a man. And we can't really sit in that space. Maybe we kind of come up to it, but we can't fully go all the way. You know, anxiety comes, fear comes. We move into a bit of a depression and we're like, this is too uncomfortable. I want to try to find a connection, or I want to just have someone I'm talking to, or I want to get laid, whatever it might be. We can't sit. We can't sit in that void. And that void is sort of the liminal space between the old paradigm of love and the new paradigm of love. The void is that in-between space between wounded love and divine union, right? And that's why when you're in sort of the void, you're like, there's no connection. There's no romance. There's none of that. There's none of that energy. It's like this empty abyss. And we're like, what the fuck is this? I can't, like when I try to think of romance or finding someone and I have butterflies in my stomach and I'm excited, like all that's gone. And I'm curious, you guys, for you guys that are listening, how does that concept feel where all idea of romance and prospective romantic connection to sit in a space where all that's gone? I'm curious, how does that feel, that prospect? Does that feel scary? Does that feel confusing? The prospect of sitting in a space where all romantic connection is gone. That's all gone. And when you actually imagine that space, it's total flat land. It's an empty abyss, right? And Robin says, I feel it. It feels level and foreign. Really sort of what it is like neutrality. You know, so much of what God and the divine is neutrality. You're in a space of total neutrality. You're present. You're in your space. You're in your body. You're totally present. The reason why it feels neutral, you guys, is because there's no preconceptions or there's no story. You're not telling yourself, you know, what happens. Like, think about it. You start talking to someone, you exchange a few messages, all of a sudden you're imagining your life with them. You're like, oh my God, maybe this is my person. You know, we're going to meet, we're going to do this, and it's going to be this epic love story. We're going to live here. We're going to have fucking 5 kids and you're in story. All of that has to die. All of that has to die in order to prepare for sacred union, right? Because what's happening is all the ways that you lived in this ego fantasy, this story-driven, wounded, karmic domain of what love is. Essentially, that love will deliver us from some sort of spiritual experience that is beyond ourselves, that is some outside of body, outside of ourselves to some degree. All that has to die. And so the void is a space where there's no, like, romance. It's kind of like that word doesn't even exist. When you think about romance or, you know, meeting someone and being excited, like that feel, you have to grieve that reality. You have to grieve all of that. But think about how few people really go through that process. Think about how few people go through that process. What I will say, so many people in the spiritual community think twin flame is sacred union. And I teach this in my work, that you actually need to often have a very karmic spiritual relationship and experience a rupture in that connection as part of the process of learning. Like, I sort of see a twin flame type connection as your last stop on the old paradigm of love. It's the ultimate stop, the final frontier of the old paradigm of love, which is why we often need to experience a really difficult relational rupture in order to move into a true grieving process of this old paradigm of love, right? And what happens when this really prolific, this type of relationship where you meet them, you felt like you've known them your entire life, it was like spiritual ecstasy, and it doesn't work. A part of your soul dies with that relationship. What I will say is, it's a projected fantasy illusion that is dying. That's what that death process is like. Like when and I fucking hate this term, but like when you have to let go of a twin flame, it's essentially you're letting go of the final frontier of the wounded paradigm of love. And you see so many people who call it, so many spiritual people that I would say aren't fully embodied and grounded spiritually, will talk about twin flames as sacred union. I think twin flames is the last frontier of the old paradigm of love, right? Because you have, and then what happens? That relationship ruptures, and now begins the process of entering the void. Means that you have to grieve all those old stories around love, and essentially what's happening is you are embodying what you were searching for relationally. And the thing that gets confusing, you guys, and this is why it feels like empty flat land, is because what you were searching for, you're now beginning to hold internally. Do you guys get that? What you were searching for, you're legitimately, cellularly, very much in your tissue, you are now embodying what you were searching for relationally. That's why it's confusing. That's why when you imagine romance, there's nothing there, because you're embodying what you were searching for. You were embodying what you feel you had to leave your body in order to obtain. You were embodying what you felt you need another person to live in a fantasy illusion, to live in a story. You were embodying the projected egoic story that you were essentially using each other for. You were embodying it. You are the embodiment of it. That's why when you look out relationally, there's nothing there, because it's inside of you now. That's the difference. What you were out there searching for relationally, it's now in you. That's why it's so disorienting, right? And so often people come up to their attachment and their inner unworthiness and their woundedness. They start to feel it, and then they move out. Okay, I'm going to get on a dating app. I'm going to go out with this person, or I'm going to entertain this connection, even if it's not in full resonance, because I'm coming up to something. I'm going to entertain this connection. And so when you enter the void, what you search for romantically is now becoming your reclamation in your home internally. That's why it feels like flat land. You're like, there's nothing there. It's emptiness. It's total emptiness because it's inside of you. Do you guys get that? People talk about it a lot, but they're like, you must become what you seek. And that's a great fucking bumper sticker. But I'm talking about the cellular embodiment of it, which is crazy process to get there and is a whole different sort of bag of marbles. But you are becoming what you were seeking. And now you enter this void and you're like, what's going on? Because what you were like searching for through stories, like think about all the romantic stories that you create. I'm going to meet my husband and he's going to look like this and we're going to live here. That all has to die. That all has to die. Because now you arrive inside of yourself. And what it takes is you have to enter the void without knowing what's going to happen. meaning you fully surrender to the empty, vast wasteland. You don't know what's going to happen, but you step anyway. It's the same thing as you don't know if you're ever going to arrive in heaven, but you have to die in order to find out if heaven exists. It's the same process. You're going through a very waking reality process of submission to death in order to find liberation. And so I'm talking about a death romantically, relationally, right? And so as you step into the void, meaning you move into a space of no connection, what you're doing is you're preparing. You're preparing your body and vessel for a whole new paradigm and imprint of love and relationships. Right now in the collective, we are about to move into a foreign, unprecedented archetype for relationships. True divine union and sacred union. Most people in this industry talk about this term, but they're not actually in the embodiment of it. Some people are, but I would say it's probably 10% of people you see talking about it are actually truly in the embodiment of it. Most people are talking about twin flames or some wounded. Most people have never truly gone through this inner marriage with themselves. Most people have never truly entered the void. What you're seeing is the twin flame archetype is totally dissolving. The twin flame timeline is totally dissolving. And it's being replaced by sacred union and divine union. You have to enter the void to dissolve the karmic twin flame, wounded spiritual relational archetype, right? And now you move into a space of flat land, this empty abyss where you don't know what's going to happen. And it basically feels like a blank canvas. Like when you look out, you can't see anything. When you try to imagine your relationship, you can't see anything. There's nothing there. That's what the void is. And that void is sort of confusing because you're like, do I not believe in love anymore? Is my heart closed? No, it's not that. Some people might interpret it, oh, that means you went through a hard breakup and now your heart shut down. No, it's not that at all. That's not accurate. What it is you're grieving an old paradigm of love and birthing a new paradigm. And the neutrality that you're experiencing is because the projections have fallen like sandcastles. Like imagine a wave coming to the beach and it's just all those projected sort of sandcastles are just getting dissolved. Because what's happening is our ego is dissolving. What happens through when you enter the void, your ego dissolves and then it gets reintegrated with a higher consciousness. This is what's happening. This is why so many people have been confused. I don't know what's happening because their ego has been leveled temporarily while a higher orchestration process works in the body. And then the ego, when it's ready, when you're ready to understand, the ego comes back and the ego reintegrates. And now what happens, you're like, oh my God, I understand what's happening. Your ego reintegrates and now your timeline shifts. And now you're no longer in a twilight zone, but it becomes an embodied reality in the flesh. What's going to happen with sacred union? It's going to be so connected to source. So here's a lot of what I feel is going to happen. Dating won't even exist in the divine union, sacred union timeline. Dating won't even exist. It won't even exist. You'll meet someone, spend a little bit of time with them, and it'll be like, oh yeah, we're spending our life together. Yeah, it's going to be like, it's like that. Because there's so much arrival and clearing. And it's like you're two whole sovereign beings that move into this amplification. And it's very much like this legacy love. This legacy of we're meant to co-create, come together to co-create. Our energies are meant to combine. So it's like two very whole sovereign beings. Dating's going to be gone. Dating doesn't exist when you move into the sacred union, divine union place. Like going on a dating app and searching, like that doesn't exist. Like that doesn't even exist. That's all gone. That's all gone. Right? And so because when you move into this place, you're going to be so infinitely guided by source. It's going to be so guided by source because the frequency that you have to inhabit to move into this space is you're in total embodiment of source in your flesh. The amount of knowing that you have in your body, the amount of arrival that you have, Like, do you guys understand that experience of arrival? So what's trying to happen right now and what happens in that void is you arrive. You finally arrive in that void. You finally arrive, but you have to step into the void to truly arrive. And so these past 8 months, we've been in a really big void. I think a lot of people have been fighting it. A lot of people have been working against it. And a lot of people have been purging. A lot of people have been fully surrendering to the void, fully letting go in the void. And the people that are going to arrive are the ones that have fully surrendered to the void, that have fully let go. The ones that no longer fought the energy and purged. The ones that actually purged through this void that we've been in for the past 8 months. We're birthing a new archetype right now relationally. Right fucking now. A new relational archetype is being birthed. Do you guys get that? That a new relational archetype with the energy that's been happening, we're birthing a new relational archetype. The twin flame paradigm is dead. That is gone. Do you guys understand that who are listening to this? Do you guys understand the difference between like a twin flame union and a sacred union timeline? Or a twin flame relationship and a sacred union relationship? Because a twin flame relationship, you've never entered the void. Like think about, because I've experienced twin flame relationships and prolific spiritual connections. And I actually went into the relationship because I wasn't willing to enter into the void. Right. And so it's almost like when you fight the void, Spirit throws you a really karmic connection, right? And Spirit's going to keep throwing you these karmic connections until you fully let go and drop into the void and recalibrate what love is, right? When you're on this path, you have to fully enter the void and recalibrate what love is. But people talk about, okay, I was in a 10-year relationship. We broke up for a month. I was grieving, and then I saw this person. I had known them my entire life, and we were engaged in 2 weeks. That's not sacred union. That's the direct conflict of sacred. Or someone was married for 20 years, and 6 months later they're pregnant with another. Like that's not sacred union. That that lends itself more to this old paradigm of love that's dissolving, right? And I think people even have a lot of conflict with this, right? Because they're like, But in order to move into sacred union, every sort of wounded projection around love must die. The only way you can do that is totally being alone with yourself for a prolonged period of time and experiencing this death fully. And if we don't go there, the universe is going to keep bringing us karmic connections to some capacity until we fully let go. And you're going to be like, well, Jamie, I know we're meant to be together. No. Jamie, I know, but I see, no. If you haven't been in a period for a prolonged period where there's nothing, and you totally surrender with every part of your being, and you committed to the divine, you fully committed to the divine without anything. If you haven't gone through that process, they are not your sacred counterpart. They are not your divine union. You have to fully commit with every cell in your body and your being to nothingness. You have to commit to nothingness. Do you guys get that? I know this type shit is not what people want to hear. Everyone is on fucking social media and Instagram. They're obsessed with divine. We're obsessed with sacred union or divine. Oh, they're my divine union. No, they're fucking not. 90% of people online that teach about sacred union and divine union have never really gone through the process internally inside themselves. I guarantee you this. You guys know what I'm talking about? Is this resonating, you guys? Let me know in the chat section if this is resonating. Robin says, no fantasy. This is my domain. It feels very real. Yeah, it's kind of boring, but good. It gives me so much space for my purpose. Feel this so much. Laura Lamina says, so aligned with everything you were saying. Yes, yeah. And I'm curious, you guys, when you hear this, is it confronting? Is it confronting or is it exciting? Or is it a combination of both? Is it both really confronting and scary, but also super liberating and exciting? Divine union is an internal process. And when I say that 90% of people online are talking about this that aren't, is that the process of actually moving into true inner marriage and divine marriage in yourself is such a gnarly process that I understand why most people don't want to go down this path. But I think what you're going to see a lot of is a lot of people marketing the word divine union and sacred union of people that they think just because they're spiritual and they're in a relationship, they're in a divine union. Just because they're quote unquote a spiritual person and they're in a relationship and they're also spiritual, that they're in a divine union. Like that's, but the problem is that they're marketing to people that can't tell the difference, right? So people that are not actually in the embodiment of this and are marketing this word or this relational archetype, they're marketing to people that can't properly vet, right? So most people that talk about sacred union are speaking to people that can't tell if this, like, okay, can you guys see me and hear me now? Okay, you can now. Yeah, there was you guys, we were producing too much energy. So it went connection unstable, and I think when it does that, it kind of it creates a glitch in the video, and so I had to just reboot it. So you guys were producing too much. See, like even technology can't handle this paradigm yet. Yeah, guys, we're going to continue to break the fucking internet here. We're going to continue to break the internet. So what's really happening, and the reason why I speak this is because like I have so many clients who are going through this. I myself am going through this, and so many so many people are in the void right now. Like I don't know if you guys like you guys watching this, and you probably do resonate. Like you guys feel like you're in the void right now, where you're like, what's going on? You're like this level of like neutrality and emptiness, but it doesn't feel scary. It feels like, whoa, this is really like really fucking cool. Everything is a blank page. You guys understand that's what divine consciousness is? If you feel like right now everything is a blank page, you are moving into divine consciousness. It means that your ego is being dissolved and merging with this holy sort of energy. Like, do you guys understand how fucking crazy, potent, and powerful that is? If you think about what's been happening the past 8 months, what happened March, the amount of density that was trying to leave your body. You guys, what's happening is we have left the pain body. We have moved into the fucking light body. We are fucking becoming star seeds. You guys, like, I mean that totally factually. You guys understand we're becoming star seeds. We are if we're becoming star seeds and we've leaving the ancestral pain body. All the energy that no longer works for you, all the ancestral pain, all the ancestral stories, all the egos, it's all gone. It's all leaving. And it's total flat land. Like when you look out, you're like, it's total emptiness. But now what happens is it becomes a frequency. Arrival is not a place, but a frequency. Arrival is not a place, but a frequency. And what it feels like is everything that you were searching for has arrived in your body and your flesh and your cells. Everything that you were searching for has arrived in your body and your flesh and your cells. That's why it's a blank canvas. That's why it's confusing and disorienting because the ego doesn't really know its place. It's like, what do I do? That's why relationally, you're like, I can't even think about meeting a man and getting butterflies. He asked me out on a date. And then on the first date, I'm imagining our life together and I'm imagining what our kids would look like. And I'm imagining what my first name would sound like with his, like that's gone. That whole world is gone. You're moving into a new paradigm of relationships, divine union and sacred union. So many people have been fighting this. People have been resisting this. They're like, my fucking twin flame. I want to reconnect or reunite with my twin flame. Or where's my man? Where's my fucking king going to save me on his white horse and take me to fucking ecstasy? You're resisting the void. The void is the fear and the resistance of our liberation. Your liberation is nothingness. Your liberation is empty, vast fucking wasteland. Your liberation is empty, vast wasteland. It's because a whole new paradigm is opening. Totally unprecedented. Totally foreign. You're coming home. You're arriving. You're arriving. And what it feels like is total levity. Total levity. It's like, whoa, I feel so light. Do you understand, you guys, how scared human beings are of levity? How scared do you guys think human beings are of being light, of not holding density in our fucking body? How afraid of that do you think we are? We're like, ooh, this freedom. It's terrifying, like this freedom. That's what we're reacting to right now. We're tripping out because we're coming into our freedom. And so we're like, what's going on? We're like, that's what we're fighting. We're fighting our freedom. And what it means is that the most inhabited soul frequency, the most authentic frequency you could ever embody is trying to arrive in you. And of course, relationships are going to take on a different energy here, right? It's going to become more of this amplification rather than searching. I don't want you to complete me. I want you to amplify me, right? Think about how you vet. How do you guys think you vet potential prospects from this place? You're like, oh, that person can't fucking meet me. That person can't meet me. That person hasn't gone through this. You see it plain as fucking day. And you're no longer in this desperation. You're like, I've already arrived in me and I've already let that go. I've already grieved that. Now you're actually making space for it. Feeling the same, relationships, career, the place where I'm supposed to live, no idea. Yeah, you're in full fucking, if you have no idea your person, your career, where you want to live, you're in full liberation. You're in full liberation. But think about how much we fight that. Think about how much the ego fights that. This is what we've been working for the past 8 months. Can you let go of everything? Can you be in nothingness? Think about how much people fight that. When you have no idea what's happening, you are literally about to be liberated to the greatest place of your life. You're making space for levity. Right? Because you've dissolved, your ego is reintegrated with literal God. Your ego has reintegrated with literal God. If there's nothingness, your ego has reintegrated with God. You're in the most potent place. And it's a frequency inside of you. It's a frequency inside of you. You're not making up stories. You're not living in projections. That's all gone. You know, when you're a little girl and you imagine the guy that you would marry, that's all gone. It's all gone. Everything's gone. Every wounded ego projection is gone. You're in the void. You're in the empty, vast wasteland abyss. And here's the thing, right? Is that it feels like a liminal space. A liminal space is when the ego can't yet comprehend. A liminal space is when the ego can't yet comprehend. The new timeline grounds merges in the flesh when the ego begins to understand what's happening. And it reintegrates with the new sort of vibration of consciousness. And really, this has been about a purification process in the body, right? Like a lot of people will talk about Kundalini awakenings, Kundalini energy. Like a Kundalini awakening is when all your energy centers clear and sync up. And now there becomes a circuit of energy that moves and vibrates through all your centers. It goes up and it goes down. That's what a Kundalini awakening is. It's a purification process to this embodiment. I think the Kundalini, and it usually takes multiple years. It's not like you just go fucking do ayahuasca and then you have a Kundalini awakening. No, it's fucking years of meeting karma and embodying it deeper. And this has been a purification process that has been happening. We are literally about to create a new paradigm for relationships, a paradigm that has never existed before. You see a lot of people talking about conscious relationship is so 10 years ago. Conscious relationship is so 10 years ago. Twin flames is so 5 years ago. Divine union, sacred union is now. And it's just being birthed in the collective now through the energy that's shifting and changing. You guys, and something that you're going to notice, part of arriving is where your truth is just bursting out of you. You can't deny it. So much of the arrival into levity is that you're using your voice in a way that is undeniable. That's why there's so much space, because you're finally using your voice. You're like, no, those people aren't for me. No, those people are on a different timeline. I'm not going to subject myself. No, yes, no. You're so clear because the vibration is so undeniable inside of you. It's living and existing through every cell in your flesh. You can't deny it anymore. That's why there's so much space. You guys, arrival is levity. Levity is space. Why are you arriving there? Because your truth is just expanding all around you. Your frequency of truth is expanding all around you undeniably. There is no part of you that is denying that truth. It is living so purely and truly through you. So what you're going to notice now is there's going to be certain friends you're like, nope, can't be around that energy anymore. Certain ways of relating, certain people, certain places, I can't be around that energy anymore. I just can't do it. And you're going to have so much more conviction in what that is for you because of the purification that's happened. Right? And so that's why relationships are going to move into such a frequency of source where it's just going to be like, eventually you're just going to like meet someone and you'll be like, yeah. Like, it's just going to be like that. It's just going to be like that. But you have to go through the void fully to get to that moment of pure arrival and clarity, right? But most people were looking for that moment without going through the process, right? We break up with someone, 3 or 4 year relationship, we're in pain, and we're like, I want to meet my person. We fucking get all dolled up. We go out. We're like, I want to see that guy and just know he's my husband. I want to know he's my husband. You can have that type of clarity, but you have to go all the way. You have to go all the way in order to get to that point. Yeah, exactly, Robin. It's revealed to you. That's actually, Robin, I like that you brought that up. It's really important. You don't search or you don't find. You just receive. God, divine, and source just reveals to you. Just like, for example, like there were some things that dropped into my body yesterday, like a vibration, certain things I'm doing. And I was like, okay. It was like, and I just received it. And I was like, as you say, Robin, something was revealed to me. And I was like, okay, I need to focus a lot of my attention here. That was revealed to me, right? And your body is in such a trust of source. Your ego is not fighting. Your ego has been dissolved and reintegrated, that you're now in receptivity of the message. You're allowing yourself to be revealed the message. That's why when your person comes, the reason you're in an empty abyss wasteland, but you trust the process, that you know you are going to have the most epic relationship that you've ever known, in an imprint of love that you've never experienced and no one in your entire lineage has ever experienced. And it's going to be revealed to you when it's the right time. It's going to be revealed to you. It's just going to show up. And you trust that so unequivocally. That's what true abundance is. You're at a wedding. You're going through this process. Everyone's like, fucking just married with kids. And they're like, oh, you're single? Like, are you dating? It's like, no. I mean, do you want to meet someone? I'm not worried. Like, it's already in the quantum field. Like the most epic relationship ever fucking known to man. It's already in the quantum field where we're going to birth a bunch of fucking babies that are going to be light beings. I'm probably going to birth them from my crown chakra. They're going to come from an umbilical cord that's coming from my crown. They're going to be translucent sort of babies that have fucking wings on them right from birth. And we're going to create a whole new, like that's in the quantum field. It's funny because in the book that I'm writing, we have to learn a new way to give birth. And the way that in the book that we give birth is through the crown chakra. We're two divine beings, and the baby shows up as a translucent hologram through the crown chakra. And the baby is bestowed to you through the crown when you're ready, right? So it's the baby starts to show up. And then when you're actually ready, when you've moved in a union to such a degree, the baby finally shows up fully in the flesh in the three-dimensional. But we have to find a new way to give birth, right? But you show up to a wedding. You show up to a wedding like that. And everyone's like, what? Because everyone's in fear. Everyone's in scarcity. But the level of trust, and it's not delusional trust. It's full embodied trust because you've done the work. You've walked the path. You're so tapped in spiritually and psychically in your body, in your flesh, and you understand what's awakening in the collective. You understand. That's why you guys, when people are really disconnected spiritually and they hear people who are really tapped in spiritually talk so factually about things, they're fucking triggered by it. They're like this person's delusional. But it's these woo-woo concepts are just cellular knowing, right? And in that place, think about how fucking abundant you are. Think about how abundant you are. You're at the wedding and you're like, yeah, fucking just my person is in the quantum field. They're there and they're coming. They're just not here yet. You know, like when was the last time it's like I've been celibate for 2 years. They're like, I've been on a date year and a half. I'm not even gonna have to date when I meet my person. They're just gonna fucking just show up just on a fucking silver platter from a bunch of fucking archangels are gonna deliver them to me at my door. You know what I mean? Just like when Dumbo delivered a bunch of fucking babies, I'm gonna wake up one day, the person's gonna be at the door, and the fucking divine union. Like, you want to build a legacy and amplify the shit out of each other and like create a fucking triangular relationship with God? It's like, yeah, sure, let's do it. Like, that's what it's gonna be. There's a whole new paradigm happening, you guys. Twin flames are done. You guys understand that twin flames are done? So when you see people talking about twin flames, you're like, you don't fucking get it. You don't fucking get it. You're misinformed. You haven't entered the void. You guys get that? Conscious relationship is so 10 years ago. Twin flames is so 5 years ago. Right? Most people are just like, I'm going to meet my husband. Oh my God, I'm going to go to Costa Rica. I'm going to meet my husband, an ayahuasca retreat. I'm going to have this fucking trip and I'm going to imagine us being fucking wounded shit. That's fucking not it. And there's going to be a massive timeline shift with all these speary fucks who are talking about this wounded shit are just going to dissolve. They're just going to fucking dissolve. And they're going to be triggered by this shit that we're talking about. They're like, oh, I don't like that. I just want to get on Hinge and just meet my king. No, fuck that. That's dead. That's done. You won't have to date to meet your person. You won't. Like, it's my 4th date. Should we kiss? It's my 4th date. You guys think we should kiss? It's my 5th date. When you're on God's time, all that fucking bullshit, that's fucking gone. We're going to be together for 1 year. And then we're going to live together. We're going to try that out. And then we're going to get engaged. We're going to be engaged for 18 months. Then we're going to have a big fuck all of that. Are you fucking kidding? I hate that shit. Okay, we dated for 4 months. And then he asked me to be his girlfriend. And then we were together for 2 years. And then he asked me to live with him. And we tried that out. We had a joint bank account. We cohabitated together. And then after 5 years, we got engaged. And then we sent out, oh my, that shit makes my skin crawl. Fucking hate that shit. Are you kidding me? You guys know what I'm talking about, though? I had this funny idea that when I got married, I wanted to like have a scavenger hunt. So it's like everyone shows up in the middle of the fucking desert and they're given a map. And it's like my grandparents, 95 years old, are given a map and they're given like an hourglass that the wedding is going to take place in this time. And if you can't if you can't figure out like following the treasure map, then you miss the wedding. And everyone's so fucking stressed. They show up and they have to like break off into teams and like you legitimately, and my fucking grandparents are 95 and they're like, like, they gotta go on this fucking great quest to be able to be there in time for the wedding. And it's like, I'm not stopping for anyone. You know what I mean? I'm not stopping for anyone. If you're not there, you're not there. And it's like Star Wars themed. You know what I mean? We come in fucking like a little fucking hovercrafts. Oh, I hate traditional weddings. Oh, they fucking make my skin crawl. But you guys get, this is what's happening, right? This is what's happening. Twin flames are done. Twin flames are up in flames. You guys know how fucking wounded that shit is? You got to enter the void. You got to enter the ancient abyss where you're like, I don't know what's happening. I don't know what's going to happen. It's a blank canvas. Now you become a fucking artist. Walk in a spiritual path as being an artist. You're making art with your body and your energy. And like the thing that happens, you guys, is the unknown becomes so unscary because of the frequency that you're embodying internally. The frequency that you're embodying internally is you're in so much knowing inside of yourself that it is literally just the safest place you've ever known. You're like, I have no idea what's going to happen. This is amazing. This is so chill. I might move here. Yeah, maybe this place, right? I don't know. Yeah. But you're so fucking calm in that space. You guys, we're moving into a brand new relational archetype. I'm curious, when you guys think of the emerging sacred union or divine union, what would be one word you guys would use to describe that? What would be one word that you would use to describe the new paradigm for relationships that's coming? What would be one word? What would be one word, you guys? Guys, I feel like I'm high. I have the biggest fucking head rush right now. Oh, I feel like I'm stoned, you guys. Like this is my crown is opening so much that I literally like don't even feel like I have a body right now. Divine truth. You guys, I don't feel like I don't feel like I have a body. Like I feel really fucking stoned right now. Oh my god, I feel so crazy right now. I feel so nuts right now. I feel like a mad scientist. Like, who the fuck is this guy? This is his pink hoodie. Fucking, who does he think he is? Fucking the male version of like Little Pink Riding Hood. Just gonna go home and see his grandma dressed as a wolf. Like, what the fuck's going on here? In her little hut in the forest. I used to love Little Red Riding Hood, even though I fucking hate porridge. But I did like that story. Fucking hate porridge. You guys, I feel crazy right now. You guys, am I crazy for talking about this new paradigm? Like, do you guys feel what I'm talking about here? Do you guys feel this new frequency that's coming? Yeah. Are you guys excited about it? Or are you scared? Are you guys excited about this? Let's fucking go. I feel less alone in my I'm happy that my craziness can reaffirm your craziness. Because you guys, when you think about this too, you guys, how much of the spiritual industry feels like containment? You gotta fucking meditate. Like how much of the spiritual industry is like contain? Like, where's the freedom, baby? Where's the unhinged fucking freedom? Like, it's containment. You know what I mean? Like, I gotta sit on the mat and contain. I gotta do my practice. Like, whew, baby, a new paradigm is coming, you guys. A new paradigm is coming. Like unhinged freedom, baby. Like that is like Why else are we doing this other than to be free? You want to know what containment is? That's spirituality cloaked as control, right? And you see this a lot with like people who are addicts who get into spirituality and then their spirituality becomes another way to be a control freak, to fucking control energy. Just fucking let this shit go, baby. Let's get the freedom going. Whoa, I feel my crown is so fucking open right now. It's like, ugh. It's like my head. It's like I feel like a storm drain for divine consciousness. You know, like when there's like a hurricane and the storm drain's taking all the fucking energy. That's what I feel at the top of my head. It's like God's jizz is just like dropping down into my. Oh my God, I feel crazy right now. But yeah, you guys, the imprint. Yeah, you guys, I'm gonna birth a hologram baby, and it's gonna be like it's so funny. I always told my parents that I wanted to adopt like a child soldier from Africa, but like um and just to kind of freak out my grandparents. So all of a sudden there's like a like a African child soldier that I've adopted that's at the dinner table with like tons of PTSD. Like that type of child's gonna come from my head with the amount of uh the whole thing was like my friends had kids early, and I'm gonna, if I have kids, I'm gonna have kids late. And I was like, in order to keep up, I have to adopt a child at the same age as my friends who had kids young. So like I'm gonna adopt like a 13-year-old. Like I want to adopt a kid who's just starting puberty, right? About the same age as my friends who had kids young. And I'll be like, who's the young dad now, bitch? Look at this, like two 13-year-olds, like a boy and a girl, 13, right? Right at the start of puberty, when things are getting really crazy. You bring them into the home, that's the plan. I'm just kidding. But yeah, you guys, the spiritual industry is changing, right? There's so much containment in this industry. We're talking about freedom here. And this new paradigm relationally, it is about so much truth and authenticity, this divine truth inside of us. And we have to enter the void. When we enter the void, you guys, that space, it feels like nothingness. And at first we're like, this is scary. What's going to happen? Our ego fights it. But then we let go and we arrive. We're like, holy shit, what was I doing? Why the fuck was I unhinged? Why was I unhinged trying to get fucked by all these dudes who can't meet me, or these women who can't meet me? What was I doing? And you surrender the void and you're like, holy shit. Look at the orbs, the frequency embodying all inside of you. You're like, holy shit, I'm arriving. And that's why it changes. That's why the flatland, it feels like that, because your ego's dissolved and reintegrated with this new divine consciousness. And now you're moving into an unprecedented paradigm, and it's a blank canvas. And when you meet that person, you'll be like two fucking architects. You'll be two painters, and your love will be like painting from the ancient blank canvas that has never existed before. And then you'll fuck for the first time, and a magic tree will grow in your backyard. Do you know when you fuck your divine counterpart for the first time, there will be a magic tree that will grow in the backyard, like Jack and the beanstalk. It will grow in your backyard. And on this tree will be a bunch of fairies and angels and orbs. And you'll be like, what the fuck? Before I fucked this person, there wasn't a tree in the backyard. And then you'll fuck again, and another tree will come. And what's going to happen is all these people are going to pilgrimage to this tree. They're going to be like, what the fuck? You fucked and made a tree? This is crazy. There's going to be some fucking angels flying around. A couple of angels like fingering themselves like to the sap in the tree. Like what the fuck is going to be going on? And you'll be like, I don't know. I just entered the void, and all of a sudden there was a tree in my backyard. And all of a sudden this mystical ancient forest is going to show up. And we're going to start to create the new earth. And every tree is going to be magical. And we're going to birth this new vitality, this new life here on earth that's going to create these ripples in the collective that are literally going to put you into a different paradigm and stratosphere entirely. Right? You guys get that? You guys get that? You guys understand that when you do fuck your person, a magic tree is going to grow in your backyard? You guys get, and if you don't have a backyard, it's going to fucking just come right through your apartment, right? If you live in a fucking apartment, it's going to come right through the floor. Do you guys get that? Like, does that make sense to you guys? Like, does that make logical sense? Mm-hmm. Yeah. So that's what you guys, when you fuck your twin flame, you know what happens? A dead plant shows up. When you fuck your twin flame, why? Why are all the plants dead? You had a bunch of plants in your living room. All of a sudden, they're dead. Guess what? You just watered them that morning. You fucked your twin flame, your karmic relationship, because, oh, this sex is so good. Ooh, I love wounded sex with people who can't meet me. I love having sex in some sort of ancient sort of astral plane that can't actually be embodied here on earth. And the moment we had sex, all the plants were dead. You guys get that too? That's how you know the relationship. If you go on a date, you have sex with someone, all your plants die. When you come home, you know it's not right. Right? So life responds to the life force that is created, right? And so something completely brand new is being created. And if you guys are here, you guys are probably tuning into this as well. And hopefully my craziness allowed you guys to feel a little bit more affirmed or reaffirmed in what's happening. Because we're moving into a whole new imprint for relationships that has never before existed. So you guys, if you have no idea what's happening, if you feel lost in the vast ancient abyss and wasteland, you're in the perfect place. You're arriving. You're fully moving into your divine frequency, and you're about to create something unprecedented. A lot of sacred unions and divine unions are going to start to show up. I don't know exactly when. I'm not a fucking, I can't fucking read the codes in the universe, but I know it's coming, right? In the not so distant future, I know it's coming. But sit in the void right now. Sit in the void right now. Allow your ego to die and dissolve. Allow yourself to arrive. The more you're willing to sit in that void and just be with yourself in the reharmonizing and reclamation of what's happening, the more you're truly going to move into the energy of that new template that's being created. You guys, we're going to see over the next bunch of years the amount of new archetypes and imprints that are going to be created that we're going to see show up relationally. The new imprint relationally and the work that's going to show up and the consciousness and the healing that's going to happen over the course of the next couple decades is going to be mind-blowing. It's like a fucking renaissance that we're moving into. So, do you guys have any questions before I hop off here? Do you guys have any questions or anything you want to ask me or anything you want to say? Anything you want to get off your chest? For you guys watching, you guys have anything you want to say? Anything you want to add here below? Robin asks, so will twin flames just not be a thing? Well, I think twin flames will always continue to be a thing, but I feel like it's like going to be a real split timeline, right? Where it's like people that are going to exist in these twin flames are going to like split off from the consciousness of like where things are evolving. So I really think twin flames as a concept over time is going to dissolve. I really, I think because the way the Earth's energy is evolving, it's kind of eradicating that paradigm and that concept. So I think it will continue to be a thing, but I think the people that are in that are going to split off from the evolution of where this new consciousness is going. So it's kind of like people that will stay in twin flame paradigms, I think are going to stay in some form of karma. Essentially, they haven't been able to answer the call. Yeah, well, like I have this whole theory that people who don't evolve kind of become zombies, right? And that so people who don't move into the new earth become a zombie at some level, right? This is actually in my book. That people who don't die this death become a zombie at some level. But it's kind of like, it's not like you're a zombie that takes bites out of people's necks, but you kind of become like asleep at some level, like stuck in suffering, stuck in karmic patterns, like you loop. Rather than ascending, you loop, right? Like a dog chasing its tail. And so you kind of you slowly over time start to turn into a zombie. That's what it feels like at the coffee shop to me these days. Yeah. If you guys start to feel like people around you are zombies, it means you're ascending, right? And so the twin flame paradigm is going to dissolve. Like that is, it's fucking getting kicked out the back door, right? And so a lot of people who are still talking about that are people that haven't fully moved into this purification process, and they're still repeating some pattern from past life or ancestral contract, and so miss the way. Yeah, it's people are like, oh, twin flames. It's kind of like you're a surfer and there was a really epic wave and you were too much of a pussy to get on the wave. And now you're still out there bobbing and a shark is going to come and fucking bite your leg off. That's what a twin flame is. Twin flame, they missed the wave. Now they're about to get eaten by sharks. That's what's up, you guys. You missed the wave. And the new earth, like we're on, like, even if you suck at surfing, you're on the wave and all of a sudden you're like, whoa, I'm really good at surfing. You're in the sort of funnel of the wave and you're like, this shit's fucking amazing. This is crazy. A bunch of dolphins are breaching, fucking in midair. That's what the new earth is, right? And then a bunch of the twin flame people out there and their legs, a bunch of blood in the water, lose a limb. So you guys, things are happening. Okay, you guys, I'm going to wrap it here. If there's any other final questions, any other final thoughts, feel free to include it in the chat section. You guys can, if you guys like this video, give it a like. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, please do subscribe. Any questions about anything, you can post them as a comment on the video or send me a DM on Instagram. Other than that, hope you beautiful babies have a nice weekend ahead. And I'm going to go check myself into an insane asylum or the psychiatric ward, one of the two. So wishing you all a fabulous rest of your day and weekend. And we'll talk to you soon.